Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Thursday, January 17th at midnight. Do not fright, but the models are showing heavy snow in 47 states in the continental U.S., especially in the Northeast, as the beast from the East 2019 hits and finishes its destruction by Monday, January 21st, twinkling its way into the weekend. Sunday will not be your fun day, and Monday will be boom time in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. Heads up, Massachusetts! The models are shifting east, and the snow depths are deep. Limestone, Maine, you're buried. New Brunswick, 34 inches in your future. It's boom time, kids. Buckle your seatbelts. Blizzard warnings in north central Cali. Active for the next day, 6 feet predicted. Heavy mountain snow to impact the area through Friday morning with blizzard conditions at times. A pair of weather systems will move through the region, spreading heavy snowfall accumulations to the Sierra Nevada, Southern Cascades. The system arriving today will produce several feet of snow, accompanied by high winds leading to blizzard whiteout conditions across the higher mountain passes. Kiss your... Travel will be dangerous to nearly impossible, and it is strongly discouraged. Travel is, anyway. Winter storm warning remains in effect till 4 a.m. Pacific Standard, Friday above 5,500. Blizzard warning remains in effect 4 p.m. this afternoon to noon Pacific, Thursday above 6,500. What to expect? Heavy snow above 5,500 feet. Blizzard conditions expected above 6,500. Later today through Thursday morning, travel will be very difficult to impossible. Damage to trees and power lines possible. Snowfall accumulations 2 to 4 feet likely above 55. Local accumulations up to 6 feet. Where Lassen Volcanic National Park, higher elevations of the western Plumas County. When for the winter storm warning until 4 a.m. Friday. For the blizzard warning 4 p.m. now until tomorrow and the next day. Additional details, your flux. Be prepared, not scared for significant reductions in visibility at times. Diamond predicted this 5 days ago. Winds gusting as high as 60 miles per hour or higher will cause whiteout conditions and blowing snow. Significant drifting of the snow is likely, as well as reductions in the drought fear-mongering throughout all of central Sacramento and the valley up into mid-central and eastern areas where this is going to be totally pummeled in the snow water equivalent of 7 inches of rain. It's boom time. Blockbuster storm to bring heavy snow, ice, and fierce winds into the northeast U.S. this weekend. Even the alpacas and llamas are pissed. That looks like a camel. What the is going on? The second of 2 storms this week will be a blockbuster in terms of impact, with a foot or more of snow forecast to fall in the northern PA to upstate New York and northern New England this weekend. Nuisance storm to race through first. The first storm forecast to swing quickly from west to east, spanning late Thursday into your Friday, will be more of a nuisance with up to a few inches of snow from PA to central northern New England. People will think that it's all over. But the plover's name is Rover, and he just took over. Enough snow will fall to make roads slippery and may cause school delays into Friday. Meanwhile, a swath of wintry mix, including some ice, will occur from near and just south of the Mason-Dixon line to much of New Jersey and southern New England. But that's not all. A much more dramatic, disruptive, and dangerous storm will follow 36 hours later from Saturday to your Shatterday into your Sunday, which won't be a fun day. Major storm to shut down travel into interior Northeast this weekend. If you live by a lake, it's probably frozen. The blockbuster storm, which will be named shortly, will hit the Midwest first, and the beast of the twist from the east is likely to cause roads to close and lead to scores of flight delays, cancellations, and other schmancellations, because nothing rhymes with that. Roads that may close during the storm include many numbers. In the Northeast, portions of the Interstate 79, 80, 81, 86, 87, 89, Prime, 90, 91 at the snowfall rates in this zone, maybe 2 to 3 inches per hour. Now, I haven't seen snow like this since I lived there. Plows are not likely to be able to keep up. Heads up! If you're not at a ski resort in northern Pennsylvania, northern New York, heads up Car Mountain, Vermont, New Hampshire, or Maine, get there now so you can be stuck there. While the heaviest total accumulations of snow from the storm will fall north of I-95, cities from Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philly, New York, and Boston. Enough wintry precipitation may occur in the heart of the cities because I just showed you the models are shifting east. And these are from earlier today because these forecasters are frauds. This heavy swath of blue should be shifted slightly south 150 miles. These will be miles that are miles and miles of snow. Global warming goodness building up in the Northeast. Areas where we were teaching our children that they would never see snow again. They're now questioning how smart their parents actually are. Have you thought about that? 12 to 24 inches predicted in the large blue swath that extends for 500 miles in my map here. 30 inches, local storm max, trademarked, AccuWeather local forecast, snowfall potential. Will probably be demonetized because I used it. Storm snapshot, Saturday, difficult travel, you're fluxed, flight cancellations. Let's open the image for the blind. An AccuWeather local storm max trademark of 30 inches is possible. Let me read that again. An AccuWeather local storm max trademark of 30 inches is possible. If it snows 29 inches, does that mean the trademark is no longer valid? Or does that just mean Brave is not responding and we're completely frozen up like the temperatures across most of central Canada? Holy shit, we lost everything. It's a complete failure on our part. We're back. Whew. Apparently someone cares. All right, let's just, everyone calm down. Wait a minute, I'm the only one that's not calm. 8 minutes and 7 seconds in, we're still recording. But apparently blowing up this picture causes a complete meltdown of the hardware. 8:22. Snow, whipping winds expected in Iowa this weekend. Well, what would you expect if a blizzard is moving into the Northeast prior to that, except for snow and whipping winds in Iowa? Let's check out the storm path, if it loads. Holy macaroni. Des Moines, you're at ground zero. We're not even being queero. KC, St. Louis, it's looking blue down there. Holy. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. Does that rain or mix? Is this an ice line? I didn't ask for this video, but it slowed us down enough that I talked about it. It's amazing. Heavy snow in Albuquerque. Snow, whipping winds expected in Iowa this weekend. Yes, it's true. Beginning the early morning hours Thursday, we have our first of 2 disturbances that will impact Iowa. So if you've been complaining you haven't been impacted, well, you're about to get the exacta box right up your arse. Shortwave moves through early this morning and will bring a mix of light precipitation and drizzle, freezing drizzle, some light snow. Make roads slick early again Thursday for the morning commute. Snow accumulations look to stay under 1 inch. That's a cinch. But the next drier event, as opposed to the heavier snow we saw a week ago, snow totals will be as high as 3 to 6 inches widespread with isolated higher amounts in the second system. Some areas will be impacted greater, and that's because the models are changing rapidly. Because the Pittsburgh weather, while still early, models showing big snow event for Pittsburgh this weekend. This guy wore a tie from 1974. Yeah, he did. As the weekend inches closer, models are starting to show what could be a big snow event for the Pittsburgh area Saturday night into your Sunday. Like I said, it won't be your fun day. Tracking 3 storms. Storm 1, wintry mix expected with slick roads, possible nightmares. Storm 2, rain and snow Thursday p.m. and Friday morning. Storm 3, big snow totals. Ow! Steel City, get in your hole. Cover that with the steel that's your cage or whatever it is. Do it. Storm 3, big snow totals possible Saturday into your Sunday, which again will not be your fun day, but it will be if you ski or sled. Big snow totals possible Saturday into Sunday, which if you're a child like me, it will be your fun day. Date is unclear where the largest totals will be. It doesn't matter. There'll be totals, snow totals. And your children will think you're an idiot because you told them it would never snow again. Mom, why is it snowing? I thought you said it wasn't going to snow again. Shut up, Al. Snow leaves plane in a tailstand at the Truckee Tahoe Airport. Looks like it's got a boner. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. Truckee, California, the snow was so thick and heavy at Truckee Tahoe Airport on Wednesday that the plane got a boner. Care of heavy stuff on its arse. That is tonight's first boom. Because it is knowledge. Really disgusting knowledge. The National Weather Service in Reno says Cessna Citation X-Jet was completely aroused. Around 20 inches of so-called Sierra cement fell on its arse. And then it performed a boom. Time. White screen. Ow! Okay. I think he's fiddling with the satellite. I think he crawled outside through a snow tunnel. If I had a minute, I'll go check. But before we get there, let's just locate ourselves here at the minimum of cycle 24. And we're going to be staying here at the bottom flexure point, in my opinion, for the next 14 months, which is a whole nother winter. And what a lot of forecasters and scientists fail to realize is that they are not approaching forecasting in a multidisciplinary style. We're finding out more and more that space weather and the electric universe model is corroborating all the climatic systems models when you're looking at it at a planetary scale, solar system scale. And yet, the nonsense continues here. Paul Douglas, total sharthead. Trending colder, but hardly pioneer cold. Ha 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 ha. And that in the article, he doesn't ever talk about pioneer cold or what that means. He's just a global warming schmuck, Paul Douglas is, that can suck it. Because he makes this salacious headline so that all you global warmists can read about how Southwest Minnesota is not even that cold. It's hard, it's cold, it's -10, but that's hardly pioneer cold. It's barely even snowing. We barely have a few feet up here. But I'm going to break down the nonsense by Paul Douglas because he doesn't do any research. He's not a fact checker. He's an ass kisser. He picks out his wardrobe. He doesn't pick out his knowledge. His knowledge is given to him. Here's your narrative. Write a fluff piece. Go. You're wonderful, Paul. Here's your hooker. Don't tell your wife. A few inches of snow are possible across southwest Minnesota on Friday. Yeah, it's winter. Very cold air will move over the weekend. I thought it wasn't going to snow anymore. Expect temperatures to fall below 0 overnight. Yeah, but they're not pioneer cold. I'm Paul Douglas. See that? It's not even snowing in the north of this state. What a schmuck. So then he has the balls to put up these graphs and not explain them. There's no context. And you know why? Because I'm going to give you the context so that in the next 3 minutes, you're going to think that Paul Douglas is the biggest shill on earth who should be fired from the Star Tribune and should go home crying and work at Wawa, which, by the way, is a mini-mart in the Northeast, which is about to be packed with people because it will be the only thing open when 32 inches of snow hits. and they didn't think it would ever snow again. So let's get to the record-breaking 10th warmest start to the meteorological winter that Paul the Sham Douglas is talking about. Here it is. Whew. Yesterday, 2019, wow. At mean average temperature, it's 10th, the 10th warmest ever, which has nothing to do with global warming, which he's insinuating, because the other warmest dates are in 1987, 1882, 1960, 1932, 1914, and 1878. Those are 8 of the 10. All before global warming was invented. So 8 of the 10 warmest winters on record have to do with global warming, you schmuck. Where did you go to school? I'm about to show you what a fool you are. Here are the top 3 first sub-zero temps on record. The latest, man, this means global warming. 2012, 2002, 1889. These are the 3 warmest winters on record. 2012, 2002, 1889. 2012, 2002, 1889. Solar Max, cycle 13, 1889. Solar Max, cycle 23, 2002. Solar Max, cycle 24, 2012. The 3 hottest winters on record were at cycle 13 max, cycle 23, and cycle 24. I bet you Paul doesn't know what I'm talking about. This guy has no clue, but I want to come up to his picture here. Paul Douglas has no clue on weather or how to predict it. Now let's look at the top 10 ranking average temperatures and see where they fall. Because right now, that's a solar minimum, isn't it? Are you, Diamond, are you about to tell me that all the average warmest winters happen in solar minimum? Well, I'm about to prove it to you. Because 1878, the warmest ever recorded winter, was right here in the centennial minimum. Right there, between cycle 11 and 12. 1878. 5, 6, 7, 78. Solar minimum was the warmest. It was the warmest ever in Minnesota at the coldest 30 years ever recorded in North America. Are you picking up what we're putting down? It's the opposite of what you think. Back in 1914 was the second warmest ever. 1914, right here. Solar minimum after a tiny cycle was the warmest ever in Minnesota. So we should expect the warmest ever winter in Minnesota this year, based on the smallest cycle we've had in decades. Just like this spot, where it was the second warmest ever. According to the science I'm using, how about 2012? Clearly that can't be a solar minimum. Damn! It's right there. Right at the beginning of 24 is 2012. Same spot. 1960, that can't be. Boom. 1960, same spot on the upswing of cycle 19. 1960. (1882), 1932, 1932. Right after a small cycle in the minimum was the warmest in Minnesota. So we can see here that solar minimum has everything to do with warm average temperatures in Minnesota, but not globally. Paul, get your weather game together. You don't make any sense, and I just embarrassed you. New CMIP data suggests that if you look at the sun and you look at climate, past climate, you can make some amazing correlations. Not causations, but we predicted record snow across North America this year, and next year breaking all-time records everywhere that you've ever imagined, and we're only beginning to tilt the world. You know how I know? Because we're about to talk about the actual data that proves that we're tilting the world. Here's the total snow mass for the Northern Hemisphere, excluding the mountains. So all you people that say, oh, the snow's in the mountains, this graph excludes the mountains, and we're above 30-year averages since October. The blue is the 30-year average since 1982. When global warming, before global warming, we're above total snow mass in the Northern Hemisphere the whole time. Boom! Heads up. Let's break it down, GFS style. Here's your next 2 days. The Creeper teaser system is going to cover the entire Northeast in a light blanket of snow. 1 to 2 inches everywhere. PA, New York, the entire Northeast. And even the Southern Appalachians are going to get a taste with a little heavier snow in West Virginia. A little strip of mild snow coming through Indy, Illinois. And you're starting to get a taste of it, Iowa, with up to 4 inches in the Northwest. South Dakota picking up a nice slathering, Nebraska. And we're going to continue to get buried in the mountains of Colorado, the mountains of Wyoming, Idaho especially, Utah, banner year. In the next 48 hours, up to 24 inches of snow predicted for the northern mountains. And up to 6 feet of snow in the central Sierras. Heads up, all the way up the coast. Let's run it through. And by your Monday morning commute, you're going to puke in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. If you work for the government, thank God you don't have to go to work anyway. All of New York. Long Island's going to get it. Jersey, Philly, the burbs, buried. And that's just in the next 5 days. And then the second system will keep you cold and deep in the snow, and the iguanas will fall. Iguana Apocalypse 2019 is coming to Florida. Here are the current temps in the U.S. The red line is the freeze line. It's going to chill out by morning. Here's your Thursday. Friday night, it's looking balmy. What a wonderful winter. If you live in Canada, you hate yourself. Minus 20 from this line into the minus 30s all the way across to the Maritimes. It's going to stay cold in Canada all of January, unless you're on the west coast. Look at those numbers. Deadly. And those are about to dip down into the U.S. this weekend, while the beast from the easter crushes Maine. Maine is going to be minus 20 in the north and stay that way, with the highs in the minus 10s during the day. Watch what happens here. Watch this cold air dump down. Heads up, PA, minus 2 everywhere. That's a temperature, high of 9 and 8. You're going to be feeling great. That's your Monday morning commute. Warming up to 10. Oh my. And then Tuesday, it's going to get colder. You might even get to 8 in Philly. Yeah, and then Florida's going to get a little taste, but here's where the real disgrace comes in here. When it's going to be 43 degrees down near Miami on the 24th. And then the freeze will continue. I just saw 27 degrees in the Pensacola area. And then here, this could be deadly. Iguanas will die this day, January 27th, according to the model. We have minus 20 central Illinois, minus 17 in Indiana. Heads up, James Crouch. This week will suck for everyone. So starting Thursday, January 24th, boom, an Arctic swath of pain will develop in the glacial zone. And we're not even in February. So as we get to the end of the month, this freezing zone is still hovering over the zone where glaciers build. And it's going to be freezing cold in Minnesota, even though it's burning up during the solar minimum. Now let's talk about more facts. Extreme cold weather alert issued for Toronto. Toronto's medical office health has issued an extreme cold weather alert for Wednesday evening. Now, extreme cold weather alert is issued when temperatures are expected to reach minus 15 C or colder, and when the wind chill is minus 20 or colder. Heads up, Toronto. That's not the only place cold. Extreme cold warning continued in northern Saskatchewan, where it's currently minus 11. High predicted of minus 3. Most of northern Saskatchewan remains under extreme cold warning Wednesday morning as an Arctic air mass has settled over the northern prairies. Environment Canada said a prolonged period of extreme wind chills between minus 45 and minus 55 are expected. Frostbite can occur in less than 10 minutes in these regions. Record-breaking low temperatures are expected through the weekend and on into February, according to the models. By Saturday morning, all locations in northern Ontario, north of the French River, are likely to see values of minus 30 to minus 40. Shorty. Extreme cold air will move into Ontario this Friday and will remain in place over the weekend. High pressure in the northwestern Ontario will help move very cold Arctic air into the province and bring the coldest temperatures of the winter. I hope you have extra wood, unless it's illegal. Now let's talk about the opposite. Australia extreme heat wave. Diamond, I thought you said we were going to all freeze to death. No, I never said that. I've never said that the planet freezes to death. I've always been the voice of reason, the one telling you that even in an ice age, there's summer. And even if the global temperature drops the most it has dropped ever in millions of years, which is 13 degrees C, if it's 90 in the area you live, it'll still be 77 in the ice age, in the summer. But what we're dealing with here is a multiplicity of events that are hard to understand simultaneously if you don't understand them individually. And we're not only entering a grand solar minimum when the sun shuts down, but I just proved to you that solar minimums are associated with warmer temperatures in the winter, especially in Minnesota. Not in all areas. Some areas get much colder. Some areas moderate, like Minnesota, where 8 of their last 10 record winter warms were during solar minimums, when others were suffering from record snows. But we are also experiencing a magnetic reversal on the planet Earth, independent of the grand solar minimum. It's unrelated, but unfortunately related to the solar system as a whole. And it is our understanding here currently that these are cosmogenic effects, not unique to the Earth, but unique to the solar system and maybe unique to the Milky Way galaxy, where there is a clock cycle in our galaxy that is powering the Birkeland currents that power our sun, which cause these perturbations. Now, the waning magnetosphere, that is a perturbation, to say the least. Now, the magnetosphere protects us from harmful cosmic radiation coming from the sun. And I'm just going to get your fingers wet here. Forget global warming. Worry about the magnetosphere. Earth's magnetic field is collapsing, and it could affect the climate and wipe out power grids. The Earth's magnetic field has weakened 15% over the last 200 years. 5% of that over the last decade. So there is a logarithmic reduction in magnetic field recently. And the 0 point is 2035, when the field drops to 0, based on a projection. During magnetic reversals and excursions, the field seldom drops to 0, based on what we know. But that's all conjecture. No one knows for sure. And if it does drop to 0 for an instant, that would be a very bad instant. But because that would mean all the cosmic radiation could rain down on us. We would have no protection. Essentially, there would be no magneto sheath, magneto pause, magneto anything. But it would only be an instant. But the magnetosphere is our protection from solar wind, from cosmic radiation blasting at us from the sun. The more things that blast at us, the stronger our shields get. The sun is in minimum, so the magnetosphere has been waning. At the same time, the poles are flipping. So there are multiple layers of events wreaking havoc on our safety and security as biological entities on the surface of this marble. Severe weather conditions during daytime hours as we point towards the sun are expected. And this is because the magnetosphere is getting thinner. The magnetopause is weaker. The sun is shutting down, so the magnetopause collapses because there's nothing to protect from. There's no flaring. The magnetic field is flipping, reducing the power of the magnetosphere at the same time. And it is our very protection that we're losing before your very lives. This protection is critical. Because as more cosmic rays rain in on our atmosphere, it will destroy the ozone. It will cause severe sunburns in mere minutes in certain regions, and it will cause record surface temperatures. Now, I was unable to pull up the graphs tonight. We'll do that in another video. But just like I showed you, the warm winters in Minnesota are associated with solar minimums. I will show you the hottest temperatures ever recorded in Australia, other desert regions, were all during high cosmic ray flux periods. Low magnetosphere. Solar minimum. Those were when the highest temperatures are recorded. And that's because more radiation comes through the atmosphere and bakes the surface. Just like you feel it baking your skin. You're not making it up. It's actually happening. Not only that, it's going to damage power grids because when the sun wakes up in a year and a half, any flare, M or X flare, is going to start frying the grid. And as we get towards that 0 point of 2035, the grid is going to cascade failure. More and more, every solar flare, more grids exploding, more cities lighting on fire. This is the world you're going to live in. Mark my words. Nothing else but what I'm saying could happen because we are not hardened. There is no protection from the things I just predicted. Therefore, what I predicted is not a prediction. It is simply going to happen based on data, analysis, and facts. The grid will fry in portions, starting now, anytime in the future, but especially in a year and a half when we start to enter cycle 25 and the sun kicks back on and starts flaring again. We haven't had an X flare or an M flare since October of 2017. We are in a drought. So when they come back, we're going to get some M's and X's and the grid will fry as soon as that sun kicks back on. Are you prepared to stay out of the burning sun? Do you have sunscreen that's non-toxic? Do you have shade screen? Does your greenhouse material block harmful radiation like mine? Here's a paper on cosmic rays, solar activity, and the climate if you want to know more. I'll leave you links below. But we're deep in here. We got to hurry up. So the heat wave has nothing to do with global warming, everything to do with the waning magnetosphere and record temperatures during solar minimums. Now, this is for all you Mary Greeley followers and all your other fear mongers that can all suck it and unsubscribe. Because I'm about to shove some Yellowstone facts right down your throat. And it's going to be difficult to swallow. But this really bizarre claim about Yellowstone volcano will make your head spin. Because you've seen it for a year and a half now. Every 3 weeks, they bring it back up. The Daily Mail, the Daily Snail, and any other rag from the UK. And this is coming out today. Yellowstone volcano researchers head east. Eruption warning revealed. Why would you head east? The largest kill zone is east of the volcano. This headline, if you don't catch it in the headline, you're just a sheep and you will have no help. East of the volcano is where weather moves. And that's where all the poisonous gas will pollute the soil. See this big red plume? That's east. Do you see the furthest damage zone is east of the volcano? But according to the Express, rag of the day, head east. They might as well say head into the center of the caldera because either place is equally as safe. Yellowstone is not going to erupt anytime soon. And if it does erupt anytime soon, it is not going to be a super volcanic eruption like they fearmonger with these circles. This baby is not going to erupt this big anytime soon. Mark my words. Or come cut my throat with a razor blade. And I'm just going to break down why. The odds of it erupting in that fashion are almost zero. Do you want to know why? Because of things called facts. The facts are that the reasons Yellowstone gets a supervolcano designation is because 2 of the last 3 major eruptions, and I said major, 2 of the last 3 major eruptions are only 2 of the last 50,000 eruptions. And 2 of the 3 major eruptions only qualify for supervolcano. Because 2 of them qualify based on the amount of ejecta, Yellowstone's a supervolcano. But only 2 out of the last 50,000 eruptions were supervolcanic. 99.5% of all eruptions are hydrothermal or simply volcanic, not supervolcanic. Which means the region affected typically would affect tens or hundreds of thousands of people if it were to erupt today. So the 99.5% probability, if Yellowstone erupts, it will only erupt in a minor fashion and only affect people near Yellowstone. the odds of a supervolcanic eruption are basically zero. The reason is the entire magma chamber would have to be liquid, over 55% liquid, in order to have a supervolcanic eruption. And the magma chamber is huge under there, and less than 15% is liquid magma. It would take thousands of years to increase that to 55%, and we would be able to monitor it, and we would know that half of Yellowstone is filled with hot liquid magma, which it is not even close. Not anywhere close to supervolcanically erupting anytime for thousands of years. But the 15% of liquid magma could heat water, so there could be a hydrothermal eruption. In fact, just 12,900 years ago, N11.5, Yellowstone erupted several times hydrothermally. But none of the experts that claim that Yellowstone is going to erupt and kill you even know this geologic fact. That the standard eruption in Yellowstone is hydrothermal, not magmatic. 99 out of every 100 eruptions are hydrothermal phreatic, not supervolcanic, not magmatic. Just a giant old faithful. And if you're nearby, the flesh will fall from your skin because that water is fucking hot. But those fear porn maps that show the entire US under ash, you have a better chance of winning the lotto and killing yourself in 10 years than Yellowstone erupting. So either jump into a hydrothermal vent or continue to buy lotto tickets. The choice is yours, because you're more likely to win the lottery than Yellowstone to erupt supervolcanically. Seismic update. West Coast is rocking. Major uptick. We're going to be watching it closely. I think this is going to be a major event in central Alaska, northern Alaska in the next few years. Definitely the West Coast moves. And we have some volcanic uptick in the next several months up in British Columbia along the Cascades. 4.5 kicking off in Greece. I wouldn't even be surprised to see a new volcano squirting out here in this fracture zone here through central Alaska. Vanuatu at 5.2 at depth, we could be watching. Nothing near the Sunda Strait. This 5.1 is over. We have a large uptick in the Caribbean, which has been ongoing for a few months here. So we're waiting for a major event. Mid-ocean ridge is spreading, 5.1. Above Iceland, we have some activity near Svalbard in the Norwegian Sea. But looking quite quiet, quite normal. Auckland, where unknown volcanoes lie beneath the surface. No, we don't want to allow that. Who would have thought the newest volcano in Auckland region would be found after a man logged an application to build his dream home on the land? In July, Wayne Valder, who owns a property in Karaka, was planning on building a 5-bedroom house on the land, which is currently vacant. There had always been whispers of a volcano hidden in plain sight near Karaka, but last year the rumors had been confirmed as fact. Some locals decided to write the University of Auckland, and lo and behold, it's boom time. A castle and moat volcano is one where a large explosion crater with a raised tuff ring around it and a small scoria rock cone nestled inside. That's exactly what this feature you're looking at is. It's a basalt volcano mantled by thick weather volcanic ash at the site. That's not a explosive volcano, but one hidden in plain sight being discovered just this year. Worldwide volcano news update. Kuchinarabu volcanic ash advisory erupted. Shevalush, another eruption. Fuego Kadaminsk up in the Kamchatka, Popo, en Reventador. Karaminsk. Explosive activity continues. A lot going on in the Kamchatka. This is another 8,000-foot plume. And Shivalush, we gave you links to that last night, so hopefully you're watching it. Let's check out the snow water equivalent in the Northern Hemisphere. Boom! Well above 20-year averages. Total snow mass for the Northern Hemisphere, excluding the mountains, showing record snow. 30-year record above average snow for the entire year that you're living now. Which, by the way, we predicted last year. Ha! Imagine that. A lot to talk about. It's going to be a long one. Low solar activity correlated to jet stream blocking, says scientists. Well, we've known this for decades, but they're just putting it together now and telling you about what we've already known for decades. And that's good news because we're getting somewhere. Snow way, Austin blizzard possible? Yes, but very, very, very unlikely. Yeah, this is some stupid paper that puts out models that are 30 days in advance. Keep watching our channel and we'll tell you where the real news is, like up in Maine. We just reported on ice pancakes, which are typical up in the Arctic Circle. Northern Norway. But recently, during global warming, they've been showing up in areas that are not near the Arctic Circle or Norway. You see this pancake? A huge ice disk has formed in the Prescomscot River in Westbrook, Maine, in the U.S. In fact, it might be the largest ice pancake ever witnessed, ever, in Maine. Come check out the article. It's totally insane. Boom. We have a spinner. Soak it in. The largest ice pancake ever witnessed in the United States is spinning before your very lives. It's pretty awesome. Look at the birds just sitting on the thing right here, taking a ride. They got to be dizzy. It's like a giant bird merry-go-round. Boom! It is boom time after all. Have aliens found us? A Harvard astronomer on the mysterious interstellar object, Oumuamua. Well, this D-bag doubled down on his idiocy. Avi Loeb, a chair of Harvard's astronomy department, is clearly an idiot. Either that or he's just behind the times and he's already paid and he's already retired and he doesn't give a to look into the facts and cutting-edge science that we do here on a daily basis. If you want to know about facts about Oumuamua, come check out Eugene Bagashov's assessment of Oumuamua's strange acceleration and other anomalies. This guy, straight out of Russia, or wherever he's from, is now broken through, plasma physicist, completely off the grain, young kid. I mean, he takes what they say in the textbooks with a grain of salt, and he goes with what he knows. His assessments are cutting edge. They're amazing. They will be proven in the future to be of epic importance into the understanding of these objects. And it doesn't have to do with the aliens. But it has everything to do with the electric universe and the false narrative that you were taught about the formation of stars, planets, and solar systems. It's not the way you think. It's much better. Yesterday, we showed you the stupid scientists claiming that they knew about asteroids fusing together in space. They're hitting. They're all hitting, and all of them we see have all hit together and stuck together. Where do they get these people? They must be living on the pancake. So let's just break it down. Electric universe, all objects traveling in space are affected in an electrical medium and are being electrically scarred or scoured as they travel around these other magnetic objects in circles. And so you just need to do some experiments in a lab with, let's say, hematite. If you don't know what that is, that's an iron oxide. Fe3O4, if I'm correct. It's been decades. Don't quote me on it, but I guarantee I'm right. Hematite Fe3O4 in an electrical environment here with an arc. Look what hematite does. It forms a double barbell because of the way electrical scouring happens on Fe3O4. Now, most meteorites are iron meteorites, similar to Fe3O4, hematite, which is why they used it. And here's Otomatule. Here is something created in a lab with electricity and hematite. You just put hematite down, you put electric on it, and it makes that. And here is hematite in space that supposedly hit another hematite ball, and they kissed, and they stuck together with bubble gum. Or they touched so lightly that it got molten right there. In the minus 300 Kelvin of space. Got molten right there when they touched. Iron meteorite exposed to electricity in a lab. Iron meteorite in space. Probably exposed to electricity in space. Because it's... Anyway. Come check out Wal Thornhill. He was just on Leak Project with Rex. We're going to have him on again. We'll get him on the show here. Thunderbolts Project for life. If you want the facts, do it. Lunar Eclipse 2019. How to watch the supermoon turn blood red. Well, you look up. And if you miss it, you won't get another chance for 2 years. In which case you could die. So if you live in North or South America and you don't look up, you're 80% of the population who's taking a permanent vacation due to disinformation. Why do we have lunar eclipses? Oh, if you don't know that, I don't know why you're watching our channel. Ebola outbreak in the Congo surpasses 600 cases, 658 reported, which means 1,200 plus, really. Second biggest outbreak in history, still angling upward. The reason the report came out is because this bar compared to this bar is much higher kicked up from the last of the steps. So they had this major kick up and we got reporting on Ebola, then they went quiet. They thought they had it contained. Now we have this another jump. This double jump here, this stagger jump is indicative of an increased outbreak, not of containment. And as the epidemic in the Democratic Republic of Congo increases, so does the insanity about it. All the graphs are going up and right. World's second largest Ebola outbreak in recorded history is showing no signs of slowing after 5 months. Why it matters? Yeah, because it sucks to die while you vomit blood and your eyes bleed. And you shit yourself to death or something. It's terrible. Eating meat has dire consequences for the planet. Vegans say. If you're eating the meat in the supermarket that's not organic, you are going to die. So eating meat does have dire consequences because you're going to die of cancer. Unless you grow your own meat, responsibly eat organic meat, free-range animals, grass-fed, it will have dire consequences. But not on the environment or anything that this article says from the National Chartographic. which has only had one use since 1972, and that's for young teenage boys to learn what naked boobs look like. Certainly not for any facts. Have you heard about the new CMI P6 data? Yeah. The mainstream says it's outdated and it needs to be adjusted downward. So the last one was the teal green back here. This is our new adjustment, and the new one should go further down. If you're not picking up what we're putting down, then I fear for your sanity moving forward. Because preparedness leads to peace of mind, if nothing else. If nothing happens, all of your preps give you peace of mind so that you can sit down and relax one evening and read a book. Because it doesn't matter if the grid fails. You have unlimited energy and you have enough food for the rest of your life. If you don't have those things, your subconscious may continuously worry about things that may be imminent, that you can feel, but you're unwilling to accept. If you've accepted our science and you want to be prepared and not scared, go to the Oppenheimer Ranch store. All the cheapest products in preparedness were put there for your benefit, so that you can be prepared and we can get 2% off of your purchase. If you don't have money to donate and you want to, but you need things, come to our store. Get what you need. Season extenders, sprouting seeds, solar generators, ham radios, CBs, bomb shelters, storm shelters, bulk sprouting seeds, portable heaters. We have a grand solar minimum preparedness library, greenhouses, telescopes, seed banks, thermal imagers, Scandinavian hatchets, winter survival essentials, bug out bags, anything you need. I just added some wood burning stove passive fans. These are thermal fans. They require no electricity. And I didn't want to endorse any of them until I got my own. So I bought this one right here, the Galifier. It has a stove thermometer, which I find is handy because it lets you figure out where you're burning at 450, which is a really good temperature to have your stove at. But this fan turns on. You can still put your hand on the stove and it turns on at such a low temperature and it kicks. I was so impressed by this fan. I'm buying one for everyone that lives near me so that I'm their new best friend. That's how amazing I think this product is. I thought they were bull BS for years, and they used to be $150. But I did some research and found out that this is one of the best ones that was just invented on the market at the lowest price. It's not the lowest. You can get them for 20 and 30 bucks now from China, but these get low ratings, and I do not recommend them because I don't own that. Don't own this one either. I own this one, the Galifier, and it works like a charm. So if you want to increase the efficiency of your wood burning stove, you burn less wood and you blow the heat across at face level instead of it just rising up to the ceiling. And this has been shown to increase efficiency 25 to 35% in a room. So you use that much less wood, get that much heat blown around for nothing, no electricity. It's a good investment. If it lasts 5 years, costs 10 bucks a year to have a free electric free fan. No brainer. And then you could even chuck it at someone and kill them if they were breaking in your house. So it's a weapon. Multitask. Think outside the box. I'm getting hungry. Anybody think of pancakes? Oppenheimer Ranch Preparedness Store. Do it. Prepare yourself. Support the channel. If you have any questions about the products, I got a bunch of them. Be happy to answer them. Times are changing. The biggest ice pancake is not in the Arctic Circle. It's in Maine, in the U.S. this year. No one's going to tell you that but Diamond. Because I have nothing to lose and everything to gain, because each and every one of you that's prepared, that makes it through these changes, we're going to be allies. Some of you, we may be neighbors. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. We love each and every one of you, even if you hate us. You'll come around. Be safe.